Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your dinner. My name is Barbara Weinstein, and I am the Associate Director at the Religious Action Center. Twenty years ago, the musical Rent opened on Broadway. And Rent's anthem, Seasons of Love, that we were just listening to, asks the question, how do you measure a year? The characters reply that among the many ways you can measure a year, you can do it in 525,600 minutes, in daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee. We'll sing later. One of the show's many fans is Rabbi Michael Namath. And for the past 15 years, Michael has been the RAC's extraordinary program director. For years, if you happen to pass by Michael's office, chances are you'd have heard the Rent soundtrack coming out of his computer speakers. And tonight, we honor Michael on the occasion of the 100 Litaken teen social justice seminars that he has so brilliantly led for the past decade and a half. We thought it would be appropriate to try and at least approximate the immeasurable impact that Michael has had on the Litaken participants who have been impacted by the program he's run, by the rabbis who are lucky enough to call Michael a colleague, by the Machon Kaplan summer interns and the Eisendrath legislative assistants that he has mentored, and by all of us on the RAC staff that are lucky enough to get to work with him day in and day out. So in the spirit of Rent, how do you measure 100 Litakens? If my math is right, it's about 220,000 teenage participants, 45,000 lobby visits to Capitol Hill, and most importantly, perhaps, 500,000 slices of pizza served.
I'm Rabbi Barry Lutz from Temple Ahavat Shalom in Northridge, California. I kind of want to watch that instead of... No, I can't see what you're all seeing. During the Torah service every Shabbat morning at Litaken, Rabbi Namath calls up chaperones, rabbis, cantors, and youth workers to lead a Torah blessing, the Torah blessings for an aliyah. He then takes the opportunity at the end of that aliyah to offer each of us his blessings for our leadership in the sacred work of pursuing justice. I have been so blessed by Michael, and so it is now a profound honor for me to be able to briefly offer you, Michael, my blessing for leading us in the pursuit of justice over more than 100 Litaken seminars. As Barbara just said, somewhere in the neighborhood of 220,000? 220,000 teenagers have participated in Litaken under your visionary leadership. That alone should secure you a place in Olam Haba, at God's right hand. But while the numbers are duly impressive, it is not the quantitative, but the qualitative It is not the quantitative, but the qualitative that distinguishes Michael. Rabbi Namath exemplifies the words of the prophet Micah. And what does Adonai require of you? To do justice, to love goodness, and to walk humbly with your God. Michael pursues justice, loves goodness, and indeed walks very humbly with God. More than that, Michael provides each of us the opportunity to do just the same. Over 12 years, I have brought close to 300 of my own teens from Northridge to Washington, D.C., and every one of them, Michael, has been transformed by the experience that you provided with your amazing RAC team. I would dare say a generation of teens in our movement have entered adulthood with a deeper commitment to social justice because of the sacred work that you do. I know Rabbi Namath to be a gracious, compassionate, and patient, oh my gosh, how patient, leader. It's not timed. Over 100 times, he has explained kesef, koach, and politica. And if you don't know what that is, you'll just have to ask him later. Over 100 times, he has guided rabbis, cantors, educators, and youth workers through the dizzying topic selection and lobbying process. And Michael, I have watched you do that each and every time as you treat each person, regardless of the circumstance, as one created in God's image, B'Tselem Elohim. You approach each person and each situation with grace, with humility, and with dignity. After 100 weekends, perhaps one could understand if Michael had declared this model of success and said, Gamarti, I'm done, I'm finished. But no, with the help and support of the RAC team, he continues to tweak, to refine, and adjust so that each year L'Takein is a bit different and always, always a little bit better. He is continually trying to squeeze out just a bit more meaning, just a little bit more Torah. And finally, Michael, I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to offer my own personal thanks to you for the blessings you have shared with me. I joined the Brickner Social Justice Fellowship because of L'Takein. And as a participant in that fellowship, without 350 adolescents swirling about, I have learned even more about you and from you. I have had the opportunity to come to know firsthand your deep knowledge, your serious thinking, and the careful consideration you put into every program that you do for all of us. I know I speak for so many of us that are here in this room and those who are not when I say that you are a rabbi's rabbi. And so, Michael, allow me to offer you the blessing you offer to us, each L'Takein. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu hu yivarech Rabbeinu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless our rabbi, our teacher, Rabbi Michael Namath. May you continue to lead us on the path of justice and mercy. May we continue to be blessed and inspired by your model as our rabbi, that we might all learn to pursue justice, to do good, and to walk humbly before our God. Ad mea ve'esrim and beyond, to 120 and beyond. Mazel tov.
Hi, I'm Michaela Hellman-Tincher from Congregation Beth Am in Northern California, but I'm also a 16-year student of Michael Namath. If you've been to one of those 100 L'Takeins that we're celebrating tonight, and I have, first as a participant, then as a staff assistant, and finally as a legislative assistant for the RAC, You probably know the basics of what happens. Michael guides the RAC staff in developing thoughtful, meaningful programming that brings hot-button DC issues to hundreds of teens and teaches savvy advocacy skills to high schoolers. You might even know that Michael routinely tells a story at these Letakens about going upstream. He uses the story to teach participants that policy and advocacy matter in getting to the root of the injustices that we see around us. But there are a couple things you may not know about what happens. You might not know that every single night of Letaken, after the participants have gone to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, a still energetic Michael leads the staff in brainstorming, even though he's done this dozens, and now we can say 100 times, new ways to make Letaken even better for the next day and for the months ahead. You might also not know that even when the Letaken season, which is exhausting and all-encompassing, is over, Michael's still running around at late hours, teaching Kutz Camp participants how to write their local legislators, or staying up late with the nifty social action vice presidents handing out toiletries to homeless residents of DC, or helping Mahone Kaplan participants fill up their Tupperwares with food to bring back to their empty dorm room. I was a beneficiary of all of those experiences. But you might know, because I know now that there are over 200,000 of us, what it feels like to learn from Michael. I've been learning from him for 15 years, or 16 years, as I said, and to learn from him is to feel the Jewish teachings of social justice come to life. Learning from Michael is not like learning from a cynical Washingtonian. Learning from Michael gives you hope and optimism about what you can achieve. Michael teaches all of his students, including me, that we can heal the world if only we have the patience, a theme, and the advocacy tools to do so. Thank you, Michael, for your years of teaching and mentorship. You've taught thousands of us to go upstream, and the world is better for it.
On behalf of the RAC staff, I can tell you that there is no greater pleasure than getting to work every day with Michael, and in so doing, being part of his family, along with his actual family, who are here today, his mom, Beverly, his wife, Rabbi Susan Shankman, Isabel, Jacob, and Evie. We have had the pleasure of welcoming them into our RAC home every day, and they are just as beloved together as Michael is to have on part of our team. And at the risk of mixing my musical metaphors, it is fair to say that if Michael's favorite musical is Rent, High School Musical is a close second, and he is our very own Troy Bolton. No one more embodies the notion that we're all in this together. Every day, Michael teaches us just as he teaches the participants in the 100 Litaken seminars that he has led. And so, Michael, come on up. On behalf of all of us in this room, the RAC staff, and the thousands of Litaken students that you have taught over the years, it is our pleasure to present you with this yad that will be used at our Torah services at Litaken and beyond, that is inscribed with Michael's name and says the words, HaMoreh HaAhuv, our beloved teacher. Mazel Tov. Have a yad.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the three of you for all of your beautiful words. I'm very fortunate and thankful that, as you heard, my mom is here. She believed every word of it. She now also has material to use for the next several months forward. In the spring of 2001, I found myself in the basement of the old RAC building, the same building, but it's completely different space. And I was there interviewing for this position with Mark Palavin. And we're having a great conversation, typical interview questions. And then all of a sudden, this energy, this ball of energy came into the room, started asking questions a little frenetically, and then David Saperstein left the room. And I was incredibly fortunate. Here I was coming right out of HUC, and David and Mark decided to take a chance. And as Mark Plavin would always say, you need to get the right people on the bus. And they said at that time, we think that guy's the right person to get on the bus. And I feel so blessed and honored that they took that chance, that they helped to mentor, to train, to support, and to help me to reach this moment where I am today. And I continue to receive that same support and mentorship from Rabbi Jonah Pesner, our new director. I'm also fortunate to have an incredible extended group of friends, my classmates from HUC, from both our year in Israel in 1996 and ordination in 2001. They are an incredible group of people who are always supportive, always there to help. Litaken chaperones, some of them soon to be Litaken chaperones, but I thank them as well. Running Litaken, very fortunate that I get a lot of the love and attention for it. But it's much like being the conductor of an orchestra, to continue the musical metaphors that I didn't know that we were going to be having this evening. I get to be up in front more often than not. But the orchestra does not happen if there is only a conductor. That is not possible. That's simply not how it works. And Litaken is the same. So in this room, there are Litaken chaperones. If you just want to wave a little bit so we can see how many of you are out there. There are Litaken participants, former Litaken participants. Probably not any Litaken participants right now. There are our staff assistants, our college students who help out during the weekends. Some of those here as well. There's the entire RAC staff team that's not physically at Litaken itself, but is doing so much of the work behind the scenes, whether it's the finances, the communications, the marketing, all of the other pieces. There are, of course, the people that are there that weekend. The legislative assistants are simply amazing, amazing people, and many of them are here. Many of them came just for tonight. There are, of course, our conference planners who make sure that everyone has somewhere to sleep, make sure that everyone has their dietary restrictions are followed. Since we are Jews, there are many dietary restrictions involved. There are our formerly known as program associates, the forerunner to our assistant program director, now held by Shira Zemmel, those incredible people who've been thought partners with me, who've helped to train the legislative assistants, and all of the people who have been just so much a part of this work, that have been part of that orchestra that comes together to make the beautiful music that is our Litaken seminars. And finally, I'd like to thank my family, to Sue and Jacob and Evie and Isabel, who have allowed me to do this work. Their support, their love, sometimes even joining us for a little bit of Litaken, it means so much to me. And the other benefit is that working with all these high school students in a program that high school students actually like, it means that it has raised my esteem in my children's eyes quite a bit, that I'm doing something cool. So that has been a nice benefit as well. Thank you all so much. I appreciate this so greatly. This has been a wonderful evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you.